Sorry about that, everyone. I'm not sure what's going on with Ustream tonight. I seem to be having some kind of technical difficulty, and but I just went ahead and restarted. I'm not sure if the first part of it um, didn't record, but I'll re-record it if I have to. But it's funny because I think I jinxed myself. 'Cause at the beginning of the show, I said, I bet you something like that will happen. So we'll go ahead and put this here like that. And then I'm just going to wait to make sure that you guys can see me. Because of course I'm seeing a commercial right now, so I'm not sure if you can see me or not. Let's see. Oh, wonderful. I can't see the chat, so I'm not sure whether, let's see if I pop it out, maybe that'll help. Okay. I had to pop out the chat in order to be able to see it. So just let me know if you guys can hear me and see me okay now. Okay, this is not going to work. Let's see. Alright, I'm trying to see the chat, but of course it's not working for me. Alright guys, if you could just tell me if you can hear me and see me okay now, and then I'll go ahead and start again. I'm not sure what's happening with Ustream today. Okay, perfect. So just since we missed the recording, basically the base of this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and all I did was put a piece of burlap on here, and then we just added this embellishment. So the next thing we're going to do is I went ahead and I colored these cute little butterfly angels, and they're from a My Favorite Things stamp. And if you guys can see her, she's just a really cute little angel. And I colored her with my Pro markers. I don't know if you guys have seen these, but these are really awesome. I'm sure Sandy has them because they're actually based out of the UK. They work the same way Copics work, just they're about half the price. So that's what I love about them. On top of the fact that the blending is super, super amazing. So the next thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and put this sweet little girl on here. And I'm going to use some of the 1/4 inch and a 1/2 inch one for here. So I like to load up my projects. Yep, her body. I did some paper piecing. So basically, everything around it is colored with the Pro markers, and then the piece of her dress is the coordinating paper that I'm going to use around the back of this project. So I'm going to put 3 of them here. And let me see if I have a package of, yeah, here we go. Package of the 1/4 inch ones. Just put them pretty much everywhere. These are really inexpensive, so I don't feel bad using them. I think they're about $2 a pack, and you get a ton. I mean, this pack has what, 132, and then this pack, which is the 1/4 inch, has 528 dots. So lots and lots of yummy dots to use on your projects. So we'll just go ahead and remove these. Sandy, I'll go ahead and remove the chat options to allow links, because I just noticed that it wasn't working. So you can go ahead and repost the links. And I just got a text on my phone from Tracy to remind me that if you guys leave a post on the Helmar page following the show, she's going to pick a random winner tomorrow. So don't forget to leave a comment after the show, and she'll pick a winner on tomorrow on the Facebook page. So now we're just going to go ahead and put her here. And because there is going to be a background, I like leaving the wing kind of sticking out so it kind of hangs off of the side. So there she goes. Then the next thing we're going to do is, where did I put that? I just lost a big old roll of seam binding that I made right before. Oh, here we go. Okay. Did I freeze? I hope I didn't. So here goes the seam binding, and all this was just regular white seam binding that I colored. And I can't see the chat, so I'm not sure whether it's not good, right? That's what I was thinking. Am I fine? Oh, okay. I was about to have another meltdown. I know. Tell Houston to be nice to me. Okay, I can see it okay now. Although, of course, you know what just happened. I got a commercial, but that's okay. As long as you guys can see me, that's fine. So here goes my big old bundle of seam binding. And all I did was I took a little Ziploc bag, I put some white seam binding in it, I colored it up, and I dried it. And here is what I got. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to do something really simple. All I do is I kind of lump it up like this. And it's kind of 3 loops on each side. And then I'll cut this in half. And then I'll cut this in half. Sandy, I'm afraid if I turn on Skype, it's going to slow everything down and make it even worse. I'm so afraid of touching anything right now. It's not even funny. And then I just take a little piece and I'm going to tie it in the center like this. So then these are going to be the 2 little ribbons that are going to hang over. And this is going to kind of offset on the side. If you have any that are too hanging, I just go ahead and snip it. Not a big deal. And because I'm left-handed, you see how challenged I am. Okay, so there goes that. And then what I like to do for ribbon and my big heavy projects, I forgot to close my glue before I put it back in my little jar. That's okay. Is I like to use Helmar 450. So I'll go ahead and put a little glob of it right here like that, and put it closer to the end like this. Make sure it holds nicely there. And then let's go ahead and put our sentiment, because our sentiment is going to go right here. And just to save some time, I went ahead and I pre-stamped it. So here it goes. It says Merry Christmas and then I cut out the corner so it looks like a little banner. And then the other thing that I did was I'm going to take the color box chalk ink, and I want it to look really distressed, so I'm going to color up this whole piece of paper like this. I know, really wacky, right? Because I want the whole piece of paper to look like it's been really vintage and just been sitting around for a long time. So now we have something that looks like that. And then I just kind of crinkle it up a little bit. And then again, we'll go ahead and take some zap dots, and I think I might have cut it, let's see, so that the half-inch ones fit perfectly behind it. Okay, so here, yeah. So we'll put one there and one closer over here. I hope you guys can still see me okay. And then kind of what I do is I kind of crunch it in the center so you guys see that it's kind of curled. You can always curl it around a pen or something like this, right? So that you get that kind of loop. And then I just put it in here like this. So now you see that it's kind of, it has that little detail in the center, so it doesn't lay out so flat. Okay, so now we have that. And we'll adjust our ribbon to make sure that our sentiment is showing. And then here goes one of those poinsettias that I love to make. And this is just using the McGill paper blossoms. And I'll go ahead and put generous amount of 450 and just put this in the center of my bow, like that. The next thing I did was, let's see, I need a little wire cutter if I can find one. I'm just going to trim a little bit off of this embellishment. These are basically just those really decorative beads that you can get at a flower shop, basically. And I kind of just adjust the beads so that they kind of lay nicer. Yes, the flower is made with the McGill punch. And let me know that if you guys can see and hear me okay, because I see myself frozen on this side, but I hope it's working fine on your side. So then I'm just going to put a generous amount of 450 on the base of this little stem, and I'm going to tuck it behind here like this. Okay? Now we're going to go ahead and do the really fun stuff. So here goes a bunch of pine punches. It's working fine, knock on wood. I know. I'm sorry. And all I did was I punched out a bunch of them, and we're just going to adhere it. In this case, I'm using the craft glue. It's a little thinner than the 450, and it's just paper, so I don't want to use my 450 for that. So now we're kind of just randomly forming, adding them behind this embellishment. And kind of what I'm doing is I just want to fill out this white space, right? Because right now it looks a little bit white, and I just want to add a little bit more detail. That was the only reason why I added these pines on here. If not, I probably wouldn't have added anything. But because there is so much white space, I just wanted to add a little bit more texture to the background. And I'm so glad that I'm not watching Ustreams tonight, because I think they would drive me mad tonight. And then, again, just adding, again, there's no perfect way of putting these. You're just kind of laying them down as you go. Just filling as much as the white space, in this case brown space, as you can. If you guys hear me clicking away, it's because I have to keep resetting to see if I can see myself. I want to make sure that you guys can see me as well. Okay, good. Looks like it's working fine. So here we go. We're just tucking them in. And we're just going to keep doing it up until the very top. And kind of my logic is, again, the logic of threes, right? So I do 1 and then 2 and then 1 and then 2. So it gives me like a pairing of threes all the way up. And it doesn't make it look like um, there wasn't very much thought process in this. So, okay, so now we have something that looks like that. And then, of course, I want to add a few kind of down here so that it just doesn't look like we forgot about the bottom area as well. So I'll just tuck a few down here, and they'll kind of fall off of the bottom. And then I'm just going to stick a few petals in here. Normally I would roll them on my mat, but I don't have my mat in front of me, so I'm just going to bend them and curl them. It gives me the same effect as if I would use my mat. Sometimes it just saves a little bit of time to do it this way. Okay. And now for this, I'm going to use my 450 and tuck this one back here, and then one more on the other side. I think it's time for me to get some more adhesives. I'm kind of running low. And then I'll tuck this one right here, just making sure that I'm not covering my sentiment. And this just adds another punch of color in the project, so it doesn't look so monotone. So do you guys have any questions so far? All right, so now we're going to take our base, and this is, let me just look at the measurements again, just in case you guys needed that. This one is 4 3/4 by 6 inches. And for this, what I went ahead and did was I cut 2 strips of 1 inch. And again, it's because I was being frugal. Since this basically is going to be layered on top of here, and the whole center is not going to be showing at all, I didn't want to waste paper. So I just cut out 1 inch strips, and I'm going to glue them around the perimeter, and then you won't even notice that there's nothing in the center. So let's go ahead and glue that. Let's move these over to the side. Okay. So I'm just going to put a generous amount on here, kind of staying within the 1 inch measurement. Sandy, are you calling me a cheapo? That's good because I am. I am very frugal when it comes to this kind of stuff. No one's going to see the sensor, so why waste it? If you want to be, I'll show you a project I did later, and I'll show you exactly what I did with it. And it's kind of the same concept, except instead I cut out a piece of a rectangle, and then I cut out the center, and I reused the center. But this is the cheaper way of doing it. And it's a good way to use your scraps. How about that? So I'm just putting it all around, and you won't even notice that there's any kind of borders or anything, because again, this is going to be covering it, And this is just adding that nice little decorative edge. So no one will even miss the fact that you guys didn't use a full sheet of paper to cover this up. I'll show you a scrapbook page, Sandy, that I used that I did the exact same thing because I don't scrapbook very much, but when I do, I'm very frugal because of that same reason. So we have some time at the end. I'll show you actually 2 projects that I'll sneak peek. I'll stop the recording and then I'll share. Okay, so now we have this, right? And you see, you guys can't even tell that I went ahead and went frugal on this, right? Okay, so now, you know what, actually what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do the 2 little grommets before I put my papers down. So I use these little tiny ones. I'm not even sure what size they are. What are these, like 1/8 maybe? Just really, really tiny ones. And we're going to go ahead and use our crocodile. Let me move them over because they're so tiny I always tend to lose them. So I'm kind of just going to eyeball it. And I'm going to put them probably about 1.5 inch away from the border. Okay. Oops. You see, I already almost lost one. Here goes the second one. And now we'll just clamp this and seal them into the page. Okay. So you guys can see there's these 2 little grommets there. And then I used some black wire. I'm not even sure where I got this. I think I got this at like my local Tuesday morning. There must have been some kind of clearance of some kind. And all I did was I kind of just put it through the center like this and wrapped it. And I just kind of wrap it around here. And then just cut a generous amount. And then use your wire cutters to cut this off. So remember, you can always adjust once it's once you put it through. So don't worry about what this part of it looks like because we're going to go ahead and fix that. So again, just run it through and then kind of just wrap it around itself so that it locks there. And I have a needle nose plier here that I can use to really tighten it up if I have to. If you have one of these, they're really useful, but if you don't, you can always use a regular plier for it as well. Okay. And then this part up here, I kind of just straighten it out. And all I do is I wrap it up like this. So now we have that little eyelet, and that's where we're going to hang it from. Okay. You can do it as long or as short as you wish, and then adjust accordingly. So then now we're going to put this on here, and I'm going to use some zap dots on the back. So what I'm going to do is just generously put some on here. I think I probably put like 8 or 9. Yep, probably 8 or 9 on here. That's funny, Sandy. Let's see. So I guess 8 is what I normally put. And then we'll just go ahead and remove these. Sandy, you're too funny. So now we're just removing the backings off of here. And they're really, really sticky, so there you go. And now I'll just go ahead and center it on here like this and kind of just press along where I think they are, and they're right around there, so we'll move this over to the side. And then the last thing I did was just add a little bit more details on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, again, some of the seam binding. You know what, I think I have a piece over here from before. And we're going to do the exact same thing. Kind of just fold and turn and fold and turn. Fold and turn until you have about 3 loops on each side. Then we're going to snip it. And then, do you guys see this magical left-handed technique? So I'm still holding this right here. And then I'm just going to put this little piece through the center and just knot it up. And then this piece, these 2 little loops that are hanging, that's what I use to tie it around this loop up here. So it's just to add a little decorative touch to the wire and not make the wire look like it's just hanging in the air. Does that make sense? So now when it's hanging, whether you want it to be a door hanging or put it on the wall somewhere or even put it in your kitchen or in your guest bathroom or something like that, you can see that it has that extra little detail on the top and it doesn't look so plain. And then, oops, I forgot to color her little flower, so I'll just color that up really quick, like that. And then I want to add a little bit of stickles around it so that it pops even more. So I'm just going to add a little bit of these diamond colored stickles on some of these pine leaves right here. And I kind of just put them randomly because what I like about this color is that it doesn't have any colors, just basically some iridescent glitter. So when it dries, all you see is the iridescent glitter. So you can't really mess up with this kind of stickle. Sometimes when you use the colored stickles, sometimes they can look a little kindergarten-ish if you put too much stickles. But with these, you really can mess it up because, again, it dries clear and all you see is the tiny details of the glitter. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing to her little butterfly wings, because in this case she's a little butterfly angel, right? And again, just really lightly because I don't want it to warp my paper. Stickles are known for warping paper depending on how thin it is. So I don't want that to happen. And then I'll put some on her little bow, her little flower too. Like that. And that's it. We're done. So how quick and easy is it to do this? And, oh, and one thing I didn't do on this one, which of course I forgot, was to cover the back. But you don't have to cover the back because, again, it's that country, very shabby chic-y look. So I love the color of the craft chipboard. So I wouldn't necessarily cover it unless you feel you absolutely need to. So here's the one that we made tonight. And there goes the hanging with the little bow. And then here's the one I made earlier tonight that looks identical. The only difference between this one and this one is the fact that this color is lighter than that one. And also one thing I just noticed I forgot was to put stickles on the bottom pine leaves. So that kind of, okay. Yeah, wouldn't this make a really fun Christmas gift? Just super fun and easy, and you can make a ton of them. It's one of those things where you can totally mass produce it. Just cut out all of your backings, all of your flowers and your pine leaves, and just kind of just lay them out and do them in kind of a um, so do you guys have any questions? Yep, total assembly line fashion. That's just the way to go. That's kind of how I've done my cards this year. I have about a gazillion of these flowers laying just around everywhere in my house. Just for example, I can start pulling some of them out, and they're pretty much all in my they're pretty much all in my dining room right now because I've kind of been sticking to that area. But even by just sitting on my desk, I just found 4 of these. So they're everywhere. Nikki, this is so easy to do. You have to seriously try it out. These little beads, they come on a long giant stem, and I picked them up at Michael's. I think they're like $1.99 for the stem, and when you take them off, it has like 12 little of these branches. So it's like 10 cents, 8 cents a piece to put it on a project. How inexpensive is that? So the most expensive part of it is the time you put into it. But other than that, this is really, really inexpensive. You can make it with a lot of your scraps. I'm sure everyone has some seam binding lying around, and if you don't have the coordinating color, you can always color it like I did. This one, I love the way it came out because it looks kind of like that ombre color where, you know, it goes from dark to light. Um, it's just really, really fun to do. Where did you go, Sandy? So for those of you, if you didn't hear earlier, Tracy said she would do a giveaway. So just go ahead and leave a comment on the Helmar Facebook page telling her what you liked about the show, what you didn't like about the show, and she's going to pick a winner tomorrow. So we'll see what fun prize she has in store for you guys. No, you didn't, Sandy. I'm going to show those in just a second. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and then I'm going to go ahead and show you. So give me just 1 minute, and we'll go ahead and show the scrapbook pages.